Before the 2013 legislative session began, an interim study committee looking at problems within the Department of Child Services got an earful of stories.
Two of the biggest issues: the department's centralized hotline housed in Indianapolis and a lack of oversight. In part two of our special investigation, News 18's Liz Nichols puts a magnifying glass on those complaints and speaks with local lawmakers about possible solutions.
It's not a Republican-Democrat situation. It's a person and it's a kid.
Hello. You have reached the Indiana Department of Child Services.
Do you think as it stands now that the system is failing our kids?
I think in many regards it is.
Fix your system. That's what an interim study committee was told to do to Indiana's Department of Child Services. Ahead of the 2013 legislative session, the committee issued a report of recommendations to lawmakers. Now several bills are going through the Indiana General Assembly.
I think you'll see from the legislation that's coming out, we're moving down that direction.
The most emotional complaint involves the DCS Child Abuse and Neglect Hotline. Before it was moved to one location in Indianapolis, reports were called in at the county level. The reason for the move was to provide a consistent and accurate way of receiving reports and to ensure those reports are handled by trained staff. According to McFarland PR on behalf of DCS, the hotline is a success, part of a national trend, with other states such as Colorado hoping to establish a similar way of handling child abuse and neglect calls. McFarland PR says the call center handled more than 155,000 calls in 2012 and boasts the hotline has short wait times.
The numbers of referrals, they will brag, have gone down. Well, the reason why the numbers and the referrals have gone down is they're not getting called back. This is another indication of when you cut government tremendously, you also are going to cut services, which we have done for our children.
Democratic State Representative Sheila Klinker thinks we need to go back and look at the whole system. It appears though a complete overhaul of DCS will not happen this session, but changes do appear likely, especially to the hotline.
I've met those folks personally. I went to the call center. They want to do the right thing. They just can't take care of all of the calls, and in many occurrences, they're not calling back quickly enough.
Republican State Representative Randy Truitt doesn't believe the entire system needs to be revamped, but he does agree changes are needed to the hotline.
When a person calls, we need to jump in, we need to jump into action, and we need to address the problem, and that's what I'm hoping to see come out of this.
Indiana Governor Mike Pence wants to beef up staffing at the call center. That's addressed in House Bill 1142, which requires DCS to hire additional employees by 2014 and requires the call center to assign all reports to the local county office. A similar bill is also moving through the Senate. Another complaint with DCS came to light when then DCS Director James Payne was accused of being personally involved with a family member's case. Payne resigned. DCS's mission is to keep an eye on our children, but who's keeping an eye on DCS?
Oversight needs to be done. Somebody needs to be checking.
Senate Bill 125 would create an oversight subcommittee, which would review what happens inside the agency. Governor Pence is also making a change at the top, appointing Lake County Judge Mary Beth Bonaventura to take over DCS.
Bringing an individual of extraordinary integrity and background and compassion in that area, I have great confidence.
Will these changes restore the confidence of the people of Indiana in DCS? That remains to be seen, but lawmakers say we're on the right track.
I remain optimistic. Well, one might say cautiously optimistic, but I remain optimistic that we're going to have some solutions.
Liz Nichols, News 18.
McFarland PR, a firm representing DCS, told us that it would be, quote, inappropriate to comment specifically on this story. However, the firm did provide us with information and a copy of the presentation that was made to the interim study committee.